By this time next week, the Republican platform will be there for all America to see and absorb. It will be chock full of those issues and items the GOP and their policymakers have decided are critical, not only to the survival of America, but necessary if the right is indeed serious about taking back the White House. And if what has been leaking out from various sources over the last couple of days is any indication, the Republican platform will be in the minds of many on both sides of the aisle. One of the most far-right-reaching documents ever put together. And to a good number of people, there's nothing wrong with that. And they believe this is exactly what the party in America needs, a solid dose of what they consider common sense in bringing values back to the table. Here's the reality. It doesn't make one bit of difference if you understand or know what is in that document and set of promises. Because 2 weeks from today, we will be right back to the necessary and unavoidable attacks on Hillary Clinton and the damage she and her lefty cohorts will inflict upon this country if they are allowed to do so. In other words, the platform makes no difference whatsoever. Or does it? Get on the line right now. Be part of the inescapable conversation here on Newsmax. 1-877-Newsmax, 1-877-639-7629. You'll get to match wits with our next guest, founder of the Guardian Angels, midday and early evening drive talker on 77 WABC in New York, one of the truly great radio stations in America. Welcome Curtis Sliwa back to the hard line. Curtis, let's get right to this, my friend, because here we go. Everybody's talking platform. Well, on this one, it's interesting because they're calling this one of the most far-right ideological concepts that they've ever had. Porn's a public health crisis, gay conversion therapy, teach the Bible as literature, build the wall, all coal is clean coal, bars, military women from combat. All right, Curtis, here it is. The platform is now in front of us right now. Do you think it'll make any difference whatsoever and people will really care what's in there because they believe in Donald Trump and that's the end of the day?
Got to tell you, the Republicans better hope that Americans are not reading that platform because that's further right than most Americans are. And if the battle here is to get the independents, do you really think that those far-right extreme issues, many of them that the Republicans didn't even bring up before, should be brought to the forefront now? No. In fact, people don't pay attention to the platform. Remember, for years, the Republican candidates would run as being pro-life, but they would never address the issue of, but not in the case of, the health of the woman or rape or incest. No, and that was always part and parcel of the Republican plank. Now, the Democrats would bring it up, but I have a feeling that most people are not cognoscentes. All they do is they follow the personalities. Trump, Hillary, and the guy I'm going for, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian, and William Weld, his partner, because I've had it with Trump, the screwball, and I've had it with the crook and the liar, Hillary.
All right, now here's part of it, because when you look at the platform, the gay conversion therapy issue is in there. Tony Perkins, who is the head of the Family Research Council and a delegate from Louisiana. We support the right of parents to determine the proper treatment or therapy for their minor children. Isn't it fair to say that last election out, the Republicans lost a lot of the evangelicals because they simply did not show up to the ballot box? They have to do something to bring them in right now. And whether you're Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, isn't it also fair to say that when it comes to the platform, this is the reason for putting these things out? You want to draw these people in because you know you're not going to get everything. It's just the way politics works. You got to get them into the ballot box.
Okay, if that's the purpose for having them on the platform, thinking that only the evangelicals will pay attention, I guess that's what you call politics. But for the mass majority of Americans, gay conversion, really? We really were going to try to convert a lesbian into being straight, a gay guy into being straight. Haven't we gotten past that already? Hey, stay out of my freaking bedroom. It's none of your BIB business.
However, you know that there's a number of people on the Republican side and the conservatives who say that, Curtis, you're talking down here. That's not what the conservatives want. We believe that we have what America wants. I know you're going to point to it, as many people should, that America seems to be coming back to the middle in so many ways.
That's fine. The Holy Rollers can have it their way and lose the White House and lose the House and lose the Senate over these issues. They're just lucky that Americans aren't going to be paying attention to that platform because the mass majority of independents who are young, many of them for the first time, the hipsters and the millennials are getting serious about politics. They're going to focus on the personalities because we're a cult of personality in America. Lucky for the Republicans we are, because if it was based on the platform, the Republicans would lose the White House House, lose the Senate.
So what do we then take from the polls? Several of them who tell us that Donald Trump has a big lead, a widening lead over Hillary Clinton. Of course, let's be very honest here. There are a number of polls that we will see from here until November. Real Clear Politics does a very nice job of averaging things out in all these polls. I mean, look, they're tied at CBS, New York Times. Rasmussen has Trump up. Hillary's up in the Economist, YouGov. But the RCP average still has Hillary Clinton leading by 4 points. Does this make any difference whatsoever when we see all these polls? Because there are people who say, hey, Curtis, wait a minute. Hillary's a liar. She's a thief. She's a fraud. And we now know, because the FBI went after her, this is the poll and these are the numbers telling us that these are the reasons why we shouldn't trust Hillary Clinton.
Right, but you know, as a pro, there's an ebb and a flow. Okay, Trump may get a bump if people aren't just too tired of all the Trumps and the Trumpettes performing at the RNC convention. It's family. Hillary will get her bump in Philadelphia, and then it's going to be on to October and November. And you know, it's October when people really get serious about the election. So right now, let it be the ebb and the flow. And sure, I guess Diogenes didn't find that one honest guy in Washington, because it certainly wasn't FBI Director Comey. That was related in that Washington Post poll. 57% of the people, 30% who were Democrats, said Hillary should have been charged.
Extra points for you for bringing Diogenes into the conversation. Very nice, my friend. Rich is in White Plains, New York. Rich, today the news came out. And Curtis, I'm going to get your comment on this as well, but let's get it from Rich first, because Mike Pence has apparently, according to ABC News, accepted the role of vice president from Donald Trump. They're going to announce it tomorrow in New York at 11 o'clock. All right, Rich, you say the vice president is overrated, doesn't mean a lot to the campaigns. People right now are involved saying this is a great pick because Donald Trump needs somebody who can work the inside of the Beltway.
Hey, Ed. How you doing, Curtis? Sure, it's a great thing now, and it'll be forgotten about. The vice president is just an understudy, and if you go out there right now, I'll bet you over 90% of the people couldn't tell you who the vice president of the United States is right now. But I'd like to ask Curtis a question, because I had the same dilemma as him. I was disgusted with both Republican and Democrat nominees. I was going to vote third party, but then I saw what Gary Johnson's positions were on the issues, and this guy's a kook.
All right, Curtis, go.
Well, you may say he's a kook. He may say he's a kook, but you know what? He's going to stay out of my bedroom. He's not going to deal with personal issues, and he's not going to get us into foreign wars. Now, some of that is reflected in Trump, but I got to tell you, I don't know where Trump is on any subject from one day to the next. He's like the pancake man. Now, if you're a sycophantodian lackey, you'll accept that from Trump. I just don't want my president walking around with a nuclear football going, blah, 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 blah. Should I bomb? Should I not bomb? Should I bomb? Should I tweet? Should I not tweet? Should I text? Hey, let me ask Ivanka what I should do. Oofa.
We are going to have this segment sponsored by a coffee maker very soon. Thanks a lot, Rich. Jeff is in Goshen, Indiana. Jeff, you like Mike Pence as the vice president. Why?
Well, I'm glad he's took the nomination. But the thing is he did real well here in Indiana.
But there are some people, hey, Jeff, there's people I talk to in Indiana, Republicans, who say, we can't wait for you to get out fast enough.
Now, hey, why do we have a surplus here?
Hey, I'm just saying. That's what some of the people in Indiana are saying. You believe it's a good idea.
I like Mike Pence. I voted for him to be in office. He's done a good job. My concern is, who are we going to get to replace him?
All right, we appreciate that. Jeff, I'm almost out of time. I got to move on. Hey, Curtis, real quick, I only got 30 seconds left. Have you seen the list of some of the things that aren't allowed at the Republican National Convention? They're talking about things, of course, guns are allowed, not within the actual perimeter, but they've actually put 72 things out there that you cannot bring into the 1.25 or 1.4 mile perimeter. One of them is tennis balls. You can put in there. 20 seconds. What do you think of all the banned things in the exclusion zone? We're looking at a real fun time.
Let me tell you that list would give me a double hernia. But let me remind you, the last vice presidential candidate from Indiana, Dan Quayle. Can you spell potato, please? I leave you with that, Mike Pence.
We do not use the E on this program. Very nice, my friend. From Diogenes to potato, I think you hit it all. Middays and early evening drive time every weekday, 77 WABC in New York. Don't miss Curtis Sliwa along the East Coast and at WABCRadio.com. Thanks a lot, Curtis. We'll see you again next week. I swear we're going to bring coffee in here one day. Can you imagine if you put the two of us in the same studio and all of a sudden we just had cafe con leche? That would be frightening, and that would be fun. Rock on, true believers. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night right back here on the Hardline. Good night and good luck.